We're up. Are we on? Awesome. Well.
You're too young to remember that. That was the theme song to Match of the Day in England.
What, like the Barclays Premier League?
Yeah, it used to be called Match of the Day. It used to be hosted by a guy called Jimmy Hill.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and back in the day,
Yeah?
that's when I fell in love with Liverpool because
the first division.
The only show back in the first division, the only show that was on in the Saturday afternoons about 4:00.
Yeah.
Was Match of the Day. Jimmy's no longer with us, but he's just said hi. So we used to, and every Saturday it seemed to be the Liverpool playing because that was the early 80s, right?
Yeah.
Or the late 70s, and we just had this amazing team. So.
Yeah. Well, some people would think this is a Liverpool podcast.
They would.
Now.
Anyway.
I don't
Who
have
are you? You're Wes Beach and I'm John Beach.
I don't really have an intro.
I was waiting for a smart ass intro from you this week.
I'm trying to think of one. I don't have one.
Yes.
If we had another, you wait. Once we have a really good guest on, I'm gonna go like Euros winner, Champions League. Oh, and the guy that won the A grade Cogra.
I won.
Yes. and the Singapore charity match.
A grade competition. Thank you very much.
And the Singapore charity
match. And the Singapore Cup.
Which
is about as valuable as the Intertoto Cup. And the only people that know the Intertoto Cup are Spurs fans because it's pretty much the only thing they've ever won. Anyway, hello Sanjay.
Well, let's get into it. The title race.
This is about the title race. It's on like Donkey Kong.
Personally, and maybe you'll see differently, but I haven't seen it this close in 10 years.
Yeah, look, and have City been poor?
Yeah. For their standards, yes.
Yeah.
City have been poor. In my opinion, I think you look at the games, which, especially before the Club World Cup, I think they went 5 to 6 games without winning.
But they didn't have to deal with AFCON.
Yeah, so what?
Well, most teams, we lost, who do we lose to AFCON? We lost Mo Salah.
That's it.
Surely we lost more.
Well,
more players
Endo to Asian Cup.
Yeah, Endo to the Asian Cup.
2 key players in our start.
Szoboszlai, kidding. But you know what I'm saying? Like, Man City didn't lose one player, right? So, I don't know. I just feel that, City, the standards are insanely high, right?
Yeah. Well, we're looking at a team which has had a poor season in a while for their standards, but they're still third.
Yeah.
Right? By 1 point.
Yeah, and still playing reasonably well, right?
Yeah. So, do you have the table up by any chance?
The Premier League table, I do, Wesley. Thank you for asking. Here it is there.
Will you tell us?
So, Arsenal, 28 games, played 28, goal difference of 46, 64 points. Liverpool played 28, goal difference of 39.
Yep.
7 worse, which is considerable. And 64 points. And City at 28 games, 35 goal difference, and 63 points. So.
And after that, what's Villa on? 8 points different, right?
It's with title races. We're not talking about that.
Yep.
That's just for Champions League spots.
Yep.
Even though Ange would probably disagree with us because he wants to feel that he can win it. He can't. There's no way he wins it from here.
Yep.
Interesting. Arsenal have lost 4 games this season.
Yep.
Liverpool have only lost 2, and City have lost 3.
That's so tight.
But we have 7 draws. Arsenal have 4 draws, and City have 6 draws. It's just so tight, right? It's if you blink, you're done.
You're done. Yeah.
You're done.
Especially now. Aren't we at round 30 or 29? Something like that. Like 10 games.
There's 10 games to go, and of course you then got what becomes really. I always find the title race really interesting because those that are competing on different fronts have other games to contend with.
Oh, 100%.
And what's really shit for us is that we then play the latest game in Europe. And I think we're going to make the Europa League final, right? I just do. I happen to think that. And we should, right?
Yeah.
And
look at the... Anyway.
So I guess
your point?
My point is we have to play on like a Thursday night over there, and then we have to back it straight up on the weekend.
Is that your one concern?
I have a concern, but for us, but I'm not worried about that because we'll just play a different 11, right? But City have to play Champions League, and then they have to play in the weekend.
And so do Arsenal.
Yeah, City and Arsenal. And I don't think I think City's got the squad for it. I don't think Arsenal's got the squad for that.
Well, that's what I was saying. I was kind of hoping that they knock out Porto because, now they've still got so many games to contend with. So I think,
so there's a
and
lot
like you
going
said,
on. Liverpool's got the FA Cup. Like there's just a lot. I mean, the
City
good
got the
news-
FA
yeah,
Cup too.
but there's the FA Cup. I guess you still got to play the extra game though, right? Like it's
Not
a
the red-
standalone
oh.
weekend, but you still got to play the extra game.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can, even at this time of the season, you can still play 3 games in 7 days, 8 days.
Yeah, and I just think I don't. Well, I have an opinion, but I don't know whether you want to hear it now or whether you want to wait till later till we go through the games.
Well, let's go through the games first. So
All right.
I have the run-in fixtures for Liverpool, City, and Arsenal. We're going to go through all of them, and then should we calculate it all? I'm
Yep.
not sure.
Well,
how
we'll
we'll
just
do
throw out
that.
there how many points.
I'm going to put a W and
Yeah.
then +3.
So Liverpool just win every game.
No, come on.
They do.
Can we at least go through it?
Sure. They beat Everton, then they beat Sheffield United, then they beat Brent. Look, I'm looking at this list, mate, and there is no one we lose to.
Villa
one.
away?
No.
Okay.
They got towed up by Spurs. Spurs at home. Is Spurs at our place, right? We
Yeah,
should have beaten
Spurs
them
at
first
our
time.
place.
Clear and obvious error from VAR. Luis Diaz was 3 metres onside, remember?
Yeah.
So,
Well, can we quickly talk about the weekend whilst I put in all these +3s? Doku on McAllister in the last minute of the game. The studs are on his chest.
yeah, puts his studs into his peck, and on any other part of the field, there's a foul, which means
and a
in the
yellow
box,
card, in my opinion.
it's a penalty. High feet. Like, come on, man.
So why
So-
didn't they give it?
So, therefore, we got 10 games. Is that right? Is it 10?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 games.
Is that 11?
I don't know. Do it
1,
again.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
30 points. So, we get 30 points.
Yeah.
And I mean that sincerely. I mean, if we can't beat Palace, United, Fulham, West Ham, these guys, I have such confidence in our squad, in the way we're playing, players coming back into the team,
The
players.
The youth.
Yeah, I mean, we played 4 games in 11 days recently, and most of those games we played with 4 kids that were 20 or less.
Oh, 18.
Like-
Jaden Dans is what, 18?
It's mental.
Yeah.
So I mean that. I mean you can actually. I mean if you want to throw in a draw, throw in a draw. But I think we can get 30 points. There's no one that really worries me on the way in. Having said that, there's a couple there that might be in relegation battle. Are they going to worry us? Probably not.
So
I just
you
think
go
we've got-
30 points. I'm going 28. I think we draw. I think we draw to Villa.
Awesome. Write it down.
Okay, I will. So
All right.
you're 30. I'm 20. Oh, 28 points. Okay.
Let's do Arsenal's running next day.
Oh, not
let's do
Cities?
Cities. Do Cities because
Let's do
Arsenal's
Okay. Man City, Brighton.
City. I mean no. Yep.
Yep. Man City, Arsenal.
Man City. Arsenal's going to be a draw.
It's going to be a
That's
draw.
going to be the favour.
Okay.
That's going to be the favour that the Arsenal are going to do us.
Okay. Man City, Aston Villa.
Man City.
All right. Next, Man City, Crystal Palace.
Mate, the rest are wins. I mean,
Luton,
it's you know,
Tottenham.
look, I would put that down as a danger game, but and Ange's a massive Liverpool fan, right?
Mm.
So, but it's very hard for me to see them losing to Spurs because I expect to beat Spurs every time I show up.
Mm.
Because the thing about Spurs is they love to have a go at you. You know what I mean? They play the high line. They have a crack. But the
Bring it
reality
out
is they leave
wide.
themselves pretty open to, like Mo Salah's going to just.
Well, Mickey Van der Ven can only run so much.
Yeah,
right?
and he's injured.
Yeah.
So your doggy's going to get torn a new one by Mo Salah on that side of the field. I just feel it's going to be pretty epic. So
Anyway, back to City.
City win the rest.
The rest.
There you go.
Okay. So beat Wolves.
Yep.
Beat Fulham
Sure.
and beat West Ham on the final
You'd
day.
expect them to, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course. So we're looking at that's 10. So 28.
Yep.
'Cause of
28
the-
points.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that. I'll go 28.
Yep.
Arsenal. Last one. Arsenal v Chelsea.
Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Chelsea have actually started to come good, and their home form's been really good. So I don't know whether is that game at home or away.
Well, let's find out.
It's postponed,
Yeah, it is.
so
postponed
I'm not
match.
sure because it must be affected by the FA Cup, is it?
There we go.
So it
It's
just says
the
postponed,
Emirates.
and it hasn't got the date.
Emirates.
So it's at the Emirates. So I'm going to say that Arsenal win that game.
Yep. All right, and then obviously the City draw.
They beat Luton. Come on.
Beat You never know. Kenilworth
Yeah.
Road.
Well, the
Well,
magic
last
of
time was
Kenilworth
4-3.
Road.
Oh no, at the Emirates this
Yeah.
time. Brighton. That's a tough game. I
No,
think
it's
you
not.
can't
No.
undermine
Brighton-
these teams.
I think Brighton have been poor. There you go. I think Brighton are a selling club, mate. They're the new Southampton.
the English Ajax.
Oh, and good luck to them. You know, like they make a ton of money by bringing in players and selling them for a
Villa?
profit.
Aston Villa?
They'll be Villa. I mean, Villa good team, but you know,
4th place.
Ollie Watkins is a poor man's Emil Heskey.
Okay, sure.
We disagree on that, eh?
Well, I Ollie Watkins, I think, is fabulous. I think he's a brilliant and very talented footballer. I don't know where exactly I'd rank him. He's definitely not Harry Kane. That's 100%. But I think I think Ivan Toney's just slightly better than Ollie Watkins.
If I'm picking an England team,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe Ollie Watkins is going to win me games.
Yep, agreed.
I don't believe he has a maturity in his game yet. He might
But he's
develop it.
28.
Yeah, but he might. I said in this game. I
Yep.
mean, I feel that Ivan Toney's got my number one striker for England's got to be Harry Kane.
Of course.
Even though I don't
With
think
a
he
blind
necessarily plays his best football in the top games for England.
Mm.
However, I think Ivan Toney for me is.
Second
I
choice.
would choose him. Yeah, I really believe that Ivan Toney's got a subtlety to his movement.
But cheekiness too.
You saw the technique on that the half volley or volley he tried
Oh,
to put over Ramsdale.
Just brilliant.
Like it just he takes pens, never looks like missing. He's a guy. If let's just say we're in the final of the Euros, okay,
You want him taken.
and we're having a penalty shootout, and we're against Italy. There you go. We're going to recreate the last one, and we look to do we want Ollie Watkins or Ivan Toney taking the pen?
Ivan Toney.
Ivan Toney. taking
Agreed.
the pen.
Agreed.
There you go.
So Arsenal Tottenham, 3 points to Arsenal. Let's find out where it is actually.
I'm going to say Arsenal.
Oh, okay.
Arsenal win it again. Big open game. This is a game you wouldn't be surprised if it finishes 5-4.
So Spurs is versing everyone on all these run-ins.
Yeah, and I'm saying they're going to get beat 3 times.
Wow, that's big. That's very big.
Well, I hope they get a draw,
We look at Andrew's perspective.
but I don't think they're going to get a draw.
Okay, all right.
My brain says no, but my heart says yes.
And the rest wins. You
Yeah.
got Bournemouth, United, Everton.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is how tight it is, though, right? Like this is the run. This is what happens every year.
Well, not.
Are you expecting
essentially.
these guys to lose? We've lost how many games? Did I say? Well, 2 games all season.
That's
It's not bad. You
not
know?
bad, eh?
And how many we lose last season?
Oh, come on. We lost about 10.
Did we? Oh, we had the bad season last year.
But then the season before that was 2 as
Yeah,
well.
that's right. That's why we're in the Europa League. Oops.
Oops. So I think 28 for all, and you've gone 28, 28, 30 for Liverpool.
Yep.
So
So
I don't
if
know
we're
the
right,
points off the top of my head, but
well, basically what that means is if you're right, Arsenal win the Premier League.
on goal difference.
Well, I mean, they're scoring a lot of goals. They've got a goal difference of 7 over us,
And there's 10 games to go.
and there's 10 games to go. So, I mean, look, I don't know, but on the basis the goal difference doesn't move too
So
much.
it could be. From my narrative, could be Arsenal or Liverpool. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I said to Ramez at the gym this morning, he's a big Arsenal fan.
Mhm.
We did a shook hands. If we win the Premier League, I have to wear an Arsenal shirt to training for a week.
Okay.
And if we win the Premier League, he has to wear Liverpool shirts, which I'm going to give him because
Awesome.
I'll give him a different shirt to wear every day.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
no, but he's a big Arsenal fan, and we both agreed that if we don't win it, we'd like to see them win it. Like no one wants to see City win it,
No,
again, right?
no,
Yeah?
it just makes you feel sick, really. All right, and then obviously if we go with your narrative,
Arsenal, real football
Liverpool
club,
win
you
by
know.
2 points. I
Yeah.
think, right?
But it all comes down to the last day. So that's what I think. My feeling is it comes down to the last day, and the last day fixtures. Arsenal at home or away to Everton. I don't know. You're showing them all as home fixtures on there.
I did this just before, so we'll have
Let
to
me just
check.
look it up. Let's just check that because, I mean, the thing is, the curly one about that is, and I'm not sure where they're at with their points deduction,
Everton.
Yeah, but
Mm.
what happens, right? Let me get this up here. All right, Premier League. Here we go. So they're at home. They're at the Emirates.
Yep. Oh, they'll win
Yeah,
that.
they
Come on.
should. Well, they should, right? But last day fixtures, I don't even like Wolves. We're going to turn that into a tough game. It's not going to be 3-0 at half time. Yeah, when you got the Premier League, if you know you can win, Manchester City will be. You watch. West Ham will
Are they
score first.
away?
Yeah, no,
No,
they're home.
they're home.
But they'll score first. West Ham will score
Yeah.
first,
And
and
then
then City
will
will
win
put 5 on them in the
6-0.
second half,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. It just always happens that
Yeah.
way. Sorry, Everton. So Everton is 16th on 25 points. Burnley are going down.
Agreed.
He's still got his job, eh?
Still got his job.
Yeah.
Which are you quite surprised about? Because let's be honest, I reckon if he has a club such as Fulham, I reckon they play really good, attractive football. But he just doesn't have the quality
I
to
don't
play
know.
Burnley's
I would need to watch Burnley's
games
games
back. Yeah.
get back. Luton go down, and then Forest probably or Everton or
Just
Brentford go
scrape
down.
up.
So let me just say this to you, right? So Forest, Brentford, who were their games on the last day? All right, let's just get to that. So give me a second. Forest, Brentford matches, results, fixtures. Here we go. Sorry, guys.
Thank God, live scores.
Thank goodness for live scores. Just talk amongst yourselves for a second. Premier League.
Premier League.
On what day in May is it, mate? It's on.
I don't have the dates
the
here.
20th. There you go. All right. So Brentford are playing Newcastle at the Bees' home ground.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to see. Newcastle.
Brentford, Newcastle. Why is Brentford in this conversation?
Burnley are playing because Brentford are around the. What I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to create a narrative where that last game for Arsenal is tricky.
Okay. All right.
Right, because if you're in relegation battle with if you're in a relegation
I see
battle
what you mean. Yes.
with Nottingham Forest and Brentford, Nottingham Forest are playing Burnley away. Burnley have been relegated. Now I know Turf Moor's a bit of a graveyard, but you got to think how motivated the guys will be thinking about getting the plane down the Maldives. Yeah, they're not going to be thinking about beating Forest.
Yep.
Brentford have Newcastle United at home. Newcastle probably finished in 6th spot, secured
7th, 8th, whatever.
Yeah, European Conference League. Probably, nothing's probably going to change much there.
Yep. But
So
Everton, you got a point.
But then Everton are that sort of a club, right? It's Sean Dyche, the defensive bastion of football, and can he do something?
On the last game,
can he
of the
park
season,
the bus? If he needs one, put it this way: if Everton need 1 point
they're probably going to get
to
it.
stay up,
Well, they'll do
would
everything.
you back Sean Dyche, or would you back, the other guy,
Thomas Frank?
Thomas Frank.
Oh, I'd back both of them. But hang on, Thomas Frank's not a good example. The Nottingham Forest guy, Nuno,
Yeah.
or Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche, every
Yeah,
single day
I
of the
just think
week.
there's something about Sean that he's just got that. That,
We kept Burnley up for 9 years.
Yeah.
Right? That's
that's
it's
David
unheard
Copperfield
of.
shit, eh?
It's crazy. But Everton always have a bit of a romance with the last day of the season where someone like Decore scores and
Yeah.
they stay up for
When
one
the
more
moon
year.
hits your eye like a big pizza pie,
That's
Decore.
Decore.
No, I think Dwight. What's his? Is it not
Dwight York.
McNeil.
Dwight McNeil. Yeah.
Dwight McNeil. Great
Talent?
player and a shit team. Yeah.
Should he move to somewhere like Brighton? Newcastle?
Fulham. Yeah, like Brentford.
Newcastle
Somewhere
would
like
be
that.
good for him, though.
You know what? I can see him. He's a striker, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is
Winger.
he a striker?
Winger, 10.
Well,
that
I know
sort of
Tony's going to get to Arsenal next year, right? So maybe he can take his place. But anyway, that's the only thing curveball I see for City on the
For
last.
Arsenal, you mean?
Arsenal, on the last day.
Anything for City? Any curveballs there? I see curveball potentially in Liverpool, Aston Villa, just because Villa Park, they're going to want to keep top 4. But anyway, back
I
to
get
City.
it. I understand where you're coming from, but I just
Away, too.
I just think at that point in the season, we've got so much to play for.
I know. Man City, we got what? I'm going to
No.
work back from final day. West Ham, Fulham, Wolves.
Look, I'd like to look at. I'm not sure what days they've got the Champions League. Like if they could make it all the way to Champions League final.
Well, what would
Okay,
they
so if
care
you had
about more?
let's have a look at this. Right, so you had a Champions League semi-final. Yeah, so let's just have a quick look at this. If you have a Champions League semi-final on Wednesday, and you've got a massive game on Saturday, do you play your best team in the semi-final? You do, right?
Yeah, of course.
You have to.
Well, they've won it so many times. They'll want to win the Champions League again
Yeah.
for a second time. you know,
Yeah.
then
And they won a lot of
winning the Premier League for the
and they won a lot of
6,000th
yeah, they won a lot of
time.
Premier Leagues, right?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, I mean, it's intriguing. It always is. You hold your breath every weekend.
Yeah.
You love it. You hate it. You can't watch it. You watch it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's the run in, and I just know that where we're going to be, my friend, on the 19th of May,
Can't wait.
Anfield.
Can't wait.
Anfield, you and me.
Unbelievable. We got some fan mail.
We do. Fan mail from James Gleason.
Who's actually been on before about a year ago.
He has. And James says, imagine if the EPL had playoffs. It would be insane. So, for example, if the regular season finished today, the playoffs, the top teams would be Arsenal, Liverpool, City.
Top 8.
Villa, Spurs, United, West Ham and Brighton.
Yep.
Imagine if they played off, and he's gone into some detail here as to who would play and how it would all work.
Or the playoff structure.
Yeah, the
format.
structure, and I guess he ends up in a 3-game... He finishes it up in a 3-game title series. So, look, let's be honest. It would be amazing to watch. No, it would be. Like, I mean, it would be amazing to watch, but James is a big fan of American sport.
Well, it's very Americanizing.
And, and I think that I believe in rewarding the consistency over time, and I think the Premier League does that in the 38 game season.
38 games, yep.
So, James, I love your idea,
Yep.
and I think that's why they play like the Super Cup and that
The
kind of thing.
Community Shield.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be against some sort of other thing where they did that,
Where's the time, though?
But yeah, he's probably sitting there shaking his head right now. But for TV ratings, I get it, but there's nothing like it. Once you start to give up the traditional routes that we've got,
Yeah. Well, then you lose the game.
That's what I believe.
Well, yeah.
What do you think, Wes?
Is there anything else?
I'm going to pass the ball to you.
Is there any good catch? Is there anything else like the Premier League or any league top flight format else in the world of sport? No.
Well, only the Bundesliga and the
No, that's what I'm saying. The Prem, the Bundesliga,
Yeah.
all the A League, whatever.
Yeah, but it's not Major League Soccer.
No, but
And I
what
love
I'm saying-
by the way, I shouldn't that didn't come across as a piss take because I love Major League Soccer, right?
Love it.
Huge Inter Miami fan.
Yeah. But I just think it's so amazing. There's no finals, right? So, like last week, Liverpool City, we've still got months, and people think this could be the title decider. But you know what? In a month's time, all it takes is one slip up from one team against someone like Brentford, and it just changes the whole course of the title. I think that's so magical that we can get to 10. We've got months to go, and anything can still happen.
Yeah, and that's what I love.
No final.
It's not like, I might remember talking to, I don't know who it was. It was actually, not
Ramez again?
No, name dropping, but I was having, I was having a conversation with Wayne Bennett. It was many years ago. We had him at a dinner, and I asked him about the final series because I was trying to sound like I knew about rugby league, and anyway, he basically said, look, there's two. He said words to the effect of this: there's two competitions. So the first competition is just to get into the 8. Obviously, you want to finish as high as you can.
Yep.
But then the real competition starts.
Okay.
And I get that, but I don't love that. I just
Not
love.
for football. Sorry, not for soccer. And even Natasha Dowie said it.
Yeah.
Remember
So
that?
for James, it's a no for me.
Sorry, it's a no.
Sorry, mate.
I
but I
get
love
it.
your forward thinking.
I think it'd be great, if we're looking at it from a business point of view,
Yeah.
the views and.
I mean, it's
it'd be amazing.
basically.
Imagine like Liverpool City, Etihad, Anfield, Wembley.
Well, it's basically the Champions League,
Yeah, exactly.
isn't
So
it?
we've
'Cause
kind
you
of
take
already got
the
it.
top players, yeah. So you kind of got it, but yeah, I can see where you're going with it, but it's a no from me.
It's a no from me too. Sorry, James, but I would like to talk about it because you just gave me an idea. The new format of the Champions League. Have you paid attention at all to what
I
that's
haven't,
gonna
but there's
look
probably
like?
like 100 teams like the World Cup, is there?
So, 36 teams in a one big league title, a big league table.
Yep.
Top, everyone versus. Oh, how many? I think everyone versus. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Liverpool versus X amount of teams, so will everyone else, and it's 10 games.
So it's like a league.
10 games in total, but you don't verse everyone.
Okay.
And then top 8 go through, then like 8th sorry, 9th till 16th or something.
Let's give it a crack for a few years.
Round of 32.
See how it goes.
And then under that, you're eliminated.
See how it goes. I'm not against it. I'm
But
not
the group
against.
stage is just. I just think we're fixing things that don't need to be fixed.
I wonder what the reasoning was. Hey, I got a question for you.
Mm.
So they're very simple. Yeah, you're right. Be money. So I got a question for you. So let's just say it comes down to the last day, and there's 3 pit teams that can win it,
Yep.
and they've got one Premier League trophy. Let's assume that,
Okay.
and that trophy gets presented to the team at the end of the ground. Now, I've got a question for you. Is there a helicopter on standby that just sits like in Birmingham in the middle somewhere and just flies out magically to where they win? Or are there actually 3 Premier League trophies? And
I'd love to know that. I'd love to know it.
And they just bring it out. Because if it was just Liverpool City, like you could be there in...
Like, what, half an hour, 40 minutes?
40, yeah, but you still got to deal with traffic, right?
Yeah.
So...
Well, a helicopter.
You have to think, well, where are they going to land a helicopter at Anfield? I guess
they'll figure it out if
Stanley
you won
Park,
the Premier
right?
League.
I'd like to know. If anyone knows, please comment.
Please
let
do.
us know.
Give us some fan mail.
But I'm thinking they've got to have maybe more than one trophy.
It's a shout. It's a shout. It makes sense, right? Because imagine if it was like, hypothetically, like Wrexham against bloody Norwich, right? And they that's
and that's, I think,
miles away.
or you bring the helicopter in because the helicopter's not part of the ceremony. You know, like in the NRL when they bring the trophy in the helicopter.
Yeah. Very
Like,
dramatic, yeah.
But if they did that in the Premier League, I could understand that. But I don't get that in the Premier League. So I'd love to know. Any aficionados out there that know more about the Premier League and how the trophy is presented?
Please let us know how the trophy is handled.
Yeah, direct message. Did I say direct message?
Direct message.
DM Wes and
DM me. Yeah.
Inside Right.
Inside Right. Football.
Football.
Is that it? Do you have anything else to say?
You never walk alone.
You'll never walk alone.
Say hi to your mum for me.
Every time. Awesome.